what did we end up deciding was our opening sentence or remark? It's Monday again. It's 6:30 EST, and we're doing our weekly live stream. And yeah, so normally what happens is you start out by reviewing a book.
Yes.
It's going to be a little bit different this week because I'm going to be the one reviewing the book. And you can see it on the screen, or part of it at least. There is currently a exhibition in Tokyo. It's a Ghost in the Shell.
Go.
Yes, go.
Go.
Ghost in the Shell artwork, original artwork from the animated series, multiple animated series actually.
Is it happening currently?
I think it's still going on, yeah.
Where is it?
In Tokyo, I think it's the 45th story of some building, but I'm not sure which building it is.
How
But
do you know that?
I remember them saying, I was watching a video about it, and I remember them saying that they were on their way up to the 45th floor. So this book is actually the exhibit catalog, and it catalogs all of the artwork and frames. I'll go into exactly what it entails, but it actually catalogs everything that's shown in the exhibit, which, yeah, it's style frames, sketches, storyboards, look dev, there's character sheets and modeling sheets, and it really does, backgrounds, it really does encapsulate every part of the design and production process.
Do you want to show it maybe?
Yeah, we can move over to the desk cam, and let me see here. So this is the book. This is what the cover looks like. It is the official book of the exhibit. That's the back of it. Actually, nothing on the back of it, which is strange. Okay. This is, it's just called Ghost and the Shell. And then
Ghost and the Shell?
It's supposed to be Ghost in the Shell, but it says Ghost and the Shell for some reason. Maybe this was the name of the exhibit,
Yeah.
which makes sense because, I mean, they wanted to emphasize the difference between the physical and the experiential, I guess. Opening it up to the first page that I sort of chose to stop on, you can see this. There's photographs of, or scans of, cells from the actual. Hi, Jillian. Actual animation. So here are the sort of sketches, and then this is the colored cells from the animation. One of the opening sequences, right? If I'm not mistaken. So this is very cool that you get this like sequential look at the cells. And we have a lot of these multiple artworks per page. Some of them are a bit small, but yeah, I mean, the print quality is very good. It's just this is the way the original. Why does it say Dex here? Well, I guess they knew I was gonna. Actually, that looks like shorthand Japanese. It just happens to look like Dex because there's some more Japanese on the page as well. Obviously, they would annotate in Japanese. Some more style frames and concepts for the opening sequence, right? A lot of these pages have multiple artworks on them. You can see some of them are really detailed and sort of look like final page layouts. And these are
final sketch, I think.
It looks like more than a sketch. You could zoom in on this maybe if you're able to. And we'll see here. Okay. The camera's angled, right? So you can see the quality. The detail is very, very nice. This is a very small rectangle on the page, but it's still
the final sketch before they translated to a colored version. I think it was done digitally, this movie, right? Or is it cell animation?
No, I think it was cell animation. Maybe the first anime was cell animation, and then they transferred to, but actually this does look digital, so
Hey, Jamie.
here, you can exit the zoom mode so I can show entire pages. Hi, Jamie. Nice having you back with us this week. Yeah, so I'm just gonna sort of go over a couple of the pages that I selected here. You can see that the detail is just crazy, really. This book is amazing.
The thing is, it's so hard to these are backgrounds, right? So it's easier to do more details in backgrounds in animation
Yeah,
because you don't need to draw it over and over again.
yeah,
But also I think the characters themselves also are very, very detailed
yes, yeah.
compared to other animations from that period.
Yeah.
When did it come out? The movie? I think it was the 2000.
Which movie? The live action one?
Not the live action.
Oh, I don't remember. I think the first actual manga.
Not manga.
Oh, the anime. It must have been
2000.
1999,
Yeah,
maybe something around there.
9.
Because I remember it being around a decade after the first manga was published of Ghost in the Shell. It was, I think, in 1988 or 1989. It came out at first in a Japanese magazine. I don't remember what the name of the magazine was. And then during the 90s, they started really publishing and have the series. So you can see it's really, yeah. I'm not sure. I think the animated series came out after the movie. I think you're right. Yeah. Here is Tachikoma, right?
I remember the MTV clip King of My Castle.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
And they used in the video clip they used some images from the movie.
Yeah, yeah. This is Bato. It's Bato's head, actually. I don't know what happened to his body here. And I'm just going to go through. This is a destroyed Tachikoma with the parts.
It's cool to see because it's mostly sketches, not the final.
Yeah.
Not the final images.
Yeah, there's a lot of sketches here. I really like the fact that the sketches are done in different colors. So there's like,
yeah, I think they want to indicate where the shadow is going to be.
Yes.
Where the color is.
Yeah, because you can tell this is in shadow and it's blocked off in red. And then the hair has this red around it.
The animator
needs to know,
all
yeah.
the keyframes, and
Right.
he doesn't need to actually do the shadows themselves, only to indicate where
they are.
The core shadow goes.
Yeah. And then here, this is somewhat different because here, I guess it's just like by type of object. So the skin is shaded in skin color, the hair is shaded in this reddish pink color. Some backdrop work here, which also looks like it was painted actually, because you see the paint strokes here on the bottom. So there's like, this is probably in oils or something.
Acrylic oils.
Or acrylics, yeah, it's interesting. This is some inspiration from sort of, yeah, Buddhist imagery and Taoist imagery. And yeah, there's like a whole kind of, I guess you could call it like a techno-spiritual theme in Ghost in the Shell and in a lot of Japanese anime. Even the title gives it away, right? So it's Ghost in the Shell.
Jamie says he loves Ghost in the Shell, and he has the films and the series.
Yeah, it's amazing. I remember watching the anime series, the original one, the first one that came out, and it was just, it blows your mind. The animation is so good. I don't know if you've seen the series.
Julian says that they're using different colors in the sketch like me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. When I was going through the book, I really did think about, because we talked about it last time, right? Last week, about how you color code things in order to communicate to yourself what belongs where. So I think they're doing the same thing, just in a slightly different way.
Yeah, I think they have in mind what each each person in the production line is gonna see and understand. The
Yeah.
colorist is gonna look at something else than the inker.
Is this better? I'm turning up the lamp here. Okay, so you can see there's like storyboard, very simple storyboarding, angles and camera setup, but you have a lot of everything in this book. It's really, really cool. This actually reminded me of Keanu Reeves quite a bit, but I don't think that that's who it's supposed to be.
But the style of Ghost in the Shell is, I think it's different than other anime from that period.
Oh, for sure.
It looks a bit more realistic, I think. The
Yeah,
characters,
yeah,
they have
yeah,
noses.
yeah.
They have
The shape
noses
of
and
the
mouths.
shapes of the heads are more realistic. The size of the eyes is more realistic.
It's not realistic, but
It's
a
more,
little
yeah,
bit
it's like
more than,
somewhere
yeah.
leaning
It's less
into,
cartoony.
yeah. This is, I love this though. The way that you can see like just the gestural outlines of things, and then there's some details or colors that are filled in specific shapes, but not in others.
Yeah.
And it just gives this cool sort of fast, sketchy feeling to it. And the folds are done really well. I love this. They indicate shadow so well, and so it seems effortlessly
Mm-hmm.
in these sketches.
Yeah. If you need to understand volume
Mm-hmm.
first.
Yeah.
If you get volume, then shadows are easy
Yeah.
eventually.
I'm just gonna zoom in a
But
little
you
bit.
need to understand how to place your character
Oh,
in
this is also crazy.
3D space
Look at
to
this.
do the shadows.
That
Wow.
is so
Oh
cool.
my god.
Yeah.
What happened?
Yeah, he got destroyed. So this is a synthetic human shell, and I guess someone either there was an accident or he got shot, and they're gonna fix him up probably. Some heads, just like random heads on the floor.
So I think the most iconic scene from Ghost in the Shell is when she's on the
Spider tank?
spider tank
Oh.
and she's like opening up the
Yeah.
hatch there and her arm breaks.
Yeah. Yeah, she like she pulls so hard that she rips her arms off.
And the animation there is crazy.
Look at this. This is so detailed.
Yeah, that's cool.
Isn't that cool? I really like when sketches are done on a colored surface. There's just something about it that
So
it
I
feels.
see a lot of development was done traditionally.
Yes.
But I think the final animation was done digitally, but I'm not sure. I think so.
A little The Shining moment here.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'd have to check up on that. But there was this is some concept art, so this is probably done digitally, it looks like.
Yeah.
Most of it, but there's also um, photos here of various places and some 3D models. They used that for, I guess, later on for layout, because as you can see here, well, it's probably going to be more obvious here. This is like a very basic.
Gillian's asking, how do you know how far to make? I'm not sure I got the question.
How do you know what?
How far to make?
So this I stopped here because it was surprising to me that 3D was actually utilized in layout. I'm guessing this is for like the later series.
Yeah.
It was probably a faster way to lay things out for storyboarding and figuring out where the camera was going to be in each sequence. But you can tell this is like a preview of a layout in 3D.
Yeah.
Same here.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's some more model sheets which shows height differentiation between the characters. This is some more 3D sort of planning for different types of objects. It's a very cool book, and if you're in Tokyo, definitely go check out the exhibit because I know I wouldn't miss it if I were there. Yeah, that's a quick overview of the book. Highly recommended. Anyone who loves Ghost in the Shell,
Where
it's.
did you find it?
I ordered it on eBay.
Let's switch places so I can start
Yeah.
when you're explaining.
And yeah, I ordered it off of eBay. And it's a very thick book, so it's not really cheap, but I think it's worth it if you're a Ghost in the Shell, diehard Ghost in the Shell fan.
eBay or Amazon?
eBay. Okay.
I wonder if it's the official book of the.
Yeah, I think it is. I think it is because I do. I think it is because we watched a video on YouTube um,
But
of a YouTuber at the actual exhibit, and
yeah,
I think he showed the exact same cover with the exact same colors and thickness and everything. So uh, the print quality is good.
yeah, but so do you think it's like did you buy it from the official
No, I
outlets?
ordered it from a store in Japan through eBay.
Okay, somebody like bought it and is reselling it.
Yeah, I think it was the store that bought a bunch of copies and then
Yeah,
resold because they know that there's going to be someone overseas that is interested in it as well, right?
yeah,
So I guess they buy up, let's say, I don't know, 50, 100 copies and then have them available for whoever's willing to pay for that to be shipped.
yeah, yeah. It's a very cool.
So you want to say something about the page that you're.
Yeah, I'm doing a double page, another double page spread from my project, Helix Sky. So it's another action scene from the book.
Mhm.
So this morning I've done um, the previous page before this one because I just finished all my other stuff and projects. So I can get back to drawing this.
Okay, cool.
I finished all what was last week? I forgot.
Last week was a different page of Helix Sky.
All right, but I had a commission. And I
Hmm.
finished it after the day after that.
What was the commission?
It
What
was
was the theme?
Batgirl,
Hmm. Yeah.
and it was um, with a reference of a sculpture of Athena.
Oh yeah. Okay, I remember. Yeah, and then there was we asked on the chat whether they'd rather see you do the white lines over the black on the Batwoman or
Or
the double page, and then they chose the double page, right? Jillian chose. I meant when you make the sketch, how do you decide how far to take it in terms of level of details in order to convey the idea? The book showed some loose sketches and some detailed ones. Right, so I think that it's actually a function of what the drawing that you're making is supposed to, what part of the process is it a part of, okay? So if you're doing, let's say, layout, which Nir has talked about, last week we spoke about it as well.
by the way, Dex is an animator, so you can actually talk about that
Yeah,
with knowledge.
right. So yeah, I do 3D animation. I've worked for years at studios, but I've also been a freelancer for a long time. And even though I don't draw much by hand, it's the basic concepts and techniques, or are still there, are still present. They just are more digital, and Yeah, they're more sculptural, I guess, in a way as well. Um, it really depends what the piece of art that you're making at the moment is intended to be used for. So if you're doing layout, there's no need to go into crazy amounts of detail. You're just basically getting the type of lens of the camera on the page, the action. So you'd see arrows.
Are you talking now about animation or
Both animation. Well, this is for what we looked at was for animation.
yeah.
So I guess he was asking the question about that, but you can answer about comics afterwards.
Yeah.
And if it's animation, then you'd like to indicate sort of motion, having arrows or getting shapes to sort of blur in a motion blur type effect in a certain direction. You're going to indicate your composition. You're going to indicate your camera position and viewing angle. You're going to indicate what the camera sees, how big it is in frame, what's in the background, things like that. Sometimes you indicate sort of blocked out dark areas and the lighter areas if that's a theme and sort of high contrast is a part of the language, then you'd indicate those. But then style frames go more into detail, not necessarily high detail, but you'd get more color information down. You'd get a little bit of a feeling of where the detail is going to end up more in the final. And then character sheets or model sheets they're basically for the animators or the sculptors or anyone that's working on your um, series or book or what have you. They all need to keep in the character in the same sort of visual language. So there's no, you can't have a character such as Motoko, and then a couple pages later she has like a nose that's twice the size, right? Because there are various animators working on the same franchise, or the same movie even, and not necessarily one person drawing a character. There could be multiple people, or there could be a series that comes out a few years later, and then you need to sort of reference that model, a Bible or library, to keep everything concise and um,
Yeah, I think that the most important thing is the amount of people that are working at the same time
mhm.
on the project.
Yeah,
And it's also like that in comics because some of the more like mainstream comics, they have multiple people working on the same page,
yeah,
starting from the sketch to the colored page and letter.
yeah.
So when there's a lot of people working on the same image, it needs to be clear what's where.
Continuity was the word I was looking for. Thank you, Jillian. Yeah. So Jillian asks, do you have any tips on drawing a character accurately and in continuity?
Yeah, like you said
Yeah.
before, if you do like a character sheet
Hmm.
where you draw the character from every direction, you don't need actually every direction. You need
They're saying that your microphone is low volume. I'm thinking that it's probably off.
stop.
Let me see. Can you give it to me and you can continue and I'll make it work. Yeah, it was off. Now it's on and it's attempting to connect. Thank you for pointing that out to us. It is on now. Here you can clip it on.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, you were saying about the character sheet and drawing the character from every angle.
Is it okay now?
I'm sure it works now, but can you say something?
Yeah.
Yeah,
One,
it
two,
worked.
three. Okay.
It seems to be working at the moment.
Yeah. So I'm saying the best and easiest way is to draw a do a character sheet
Mm-hmm.
with the character, the design, like the face from at least front and side view, and the body with the clothing, And then each time you draw the character, you can look at this sheet and just you don't need to remember how to draw it from your imagination. You have a reference. But I think also it's a good idea to make some sort of process of how to draw the character.
Right.
For example, in The Simpsons, for example, just I don't know, something I thought about now. I don't know why. There's the way they draw Homer Simpson, for example. It's like a pill with two something like this. Okay,
Right.
so you
Yeah.
have like a base. I do most of the time I do like a circle, and I do it's like the mm,
There's a thing called on model. So on model means like the do's and don'ts of what the character,
yeah.
how the character is
So
drawn.
if I do something like this, a simplification of the character, and after that I have this system and I use this system to draw the character. I know the eyes are gonna be here, the nose is gonna be here, the mouth is gonna be here. But I do save it. I have this from side view and front view, and I have it on a character sheet. But I also use this method to draw it over and over again, so it's easier for me to be precise with how the character looks.
Yeah, type of Loomis head, exactly. Yeah.
It's a Loomis. It's not a Loomis head. It's a Loomis head combined with something else. Loomis head goes like this, I think. I think this is the Loomis head, and I added this.
Which is the cutaway for the eyes.
It's the cutaway from the eyes, because usually the eyes are a bit more sunken a little bit inside the skull.
Yeah.
So it makes it easier to indicate where they are.
It also gives you the brow ridge and the base
brow
of the
ridge
nose.
and the nose.
Yeah, it's really good. A sorrow head, Jillian asks. Do you know what that is?
And you also have this.
A sorrow.
Like you can indicate the neck here.
Head. I don't know. I've never heard of an Asaro head, but yeah, it's like a basic. Yeah, you could say. I'm looking at it now. It's like a basic.
Yeah, every artist has their own basic way to draw face. Yeah. So I started with the Loomis method, but it was lacking for me a little bit, so I added just a bit more information, and it helps me draw faces more accurately, I guess. Yeah. I bought some new brushes, and I never use brushes for inking.
Right.
But with the problems I'm having with the white inks, I decided to buy brushes and maybe try to use them for whites, because I'm not sure I have a good method of drawing whites on blacks yet. It's a hard topic for me. I haven't figured out yet the best way for me to draw with whites on blacks.
Yeah. I just added a little window with. I've been talking a lot today, so I added a small window on the side with my face on it as well.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if that's better, but I find that sometimes when I watch video and a person has been speaking for a long time, but I can't see them, it sort of discombobulates me a little bit.
Yeah.
But we'll see if this is.
When you sat here, I think this camera got you.
Yeah. Jillian says, I was wondering if you have any tips for inking long and curvy lines without having the lines being shaky or jagged. For example, hair that's wavy-like lines filling the entire page, and how to ink them.
Mm, I don't know if if it's, first of all, you need to understand if it's something that is important for you. Maybe I'm not sure it's that important to be accurate
With hair.
with anything. A lot of style that you develop for yourself comes from mistakes that you do
Hmm.
over the years. So first of all, you need to understand if it's really something you want, or are you looking at somebody else's art and trying to mimic it.
Which is also not bad.
I'm
You
not
you
saying it's bad.
you can learn a
but
lot from trying to
yeah,
mimic.
for sure. I'm not saying it's bad, but I'm saying don't don't decide without thinking. Don't say I have to draw accurate lines.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you don't have to do that.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
That's the first thing. And then if you decide really that you do want the lines to be smooth, then maybe start with the tools that you're using if you're having problems, because it's all about hand stability,
Mm-hmm.
the lines,
Right.
but the tools help. So for me, for example, using a brush is much harder than dip pens. So I started with the brush pens and like soft tip materials,
Yeah.
and my lines were not not accurate. It took me some time until I realized that I might be using the wrong tool for me. I know some people, there are some artists who are using brushes, and Tradmore, for example, he uses brush. Only one type of brush, and that's it.
Oh, really? Is it only one type?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
He's using like Winsor and Newton inking brush, like a small tip one. But that's his only tool. But I saw him use this tool, and he holds the brush very tightly. So for if you're using a brush, you need to be very precise with it, because the brush is less forgiving
Mm-hmm.
than a pen.
Right.
Anything that has a rigid tip is
Easier to control.
mostly easier to control, only because you have a resistance from the page.
Yeah, you're leaning
So
on.
yeah, you can move a little bit with your hand, but the line is still going to be in the same position, because you're using your balance with the table and the page itself.
Jillian says, for example, how would you ink the long blue lines in your drawing that are behind the red hand of the figure? So I think the other hand.
Yeah, for the backgrounds,
Yeah.
I'm using so this is for me. I think everybody needs to find their own tools,
Yeah.
but I feel like my hand is not that steady, so I have to use a tool that is more rigid
Mm-hmm.
and is less loose like a brush.
Right.
So for the background, I'm using the technical pens, which are very, very rigid. So you just need to choose the right tool for the thing that you want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
And over time, you'll get more precise with it. It's like practice. It's like sports.
Yeah.
If you do it over and over again,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna get better. But the first thing you need to do is think about it and decide if it's really something that you want,
Right.
or is it something that you saw somebody else doing.
Right.
Because there's a lot of artists who are very loose and not accurate at all. For example, I don't know, for a recent one is like a contemporary artist, Daniel Warren Johnson,
Mm-hmm.
or James Heron, people like that. They are very loose.
Yeah.
So their style is very
Expressive.
scratchy and messy,
Yeah.
and it looks awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So the accuracy of the lines aren't the I don't think it's the most important thing
I don't think
in
it's the
the
most important, but I think it's good to know how to control your lines and then break that if you want to break it. So it's like knowing the rules of photography and then deciding to do something different when you need to or want to. Um,
Yeah, but I think the like for comics and designing a page for comics, I think it's the least one of the least important things to be accurate with lines. I think it's not that important.
Jillian asks if you ever use a curvy ruler or a caliper.
No, I hate using them. I hate it.
Yeah,
It's it takes too much time to do that.
yeah.
But I don't have anything against it. It's just that I for me it's like it's not something I want to
Necessary.
do.
Yeah,
I guess I can make the lines more precise if I use a ruler.
right.
Even for panel borders,
Yeah, you
I
don't use
never I
rulers.
never use a ruler.
Hmm.
And just an example, Daniel Warren Johnson, he does use rulers for
That's
panels.
ironic.
Yeah, that's funny because
Hmm.
his art is very scratchy and not precise, but the panels are he chose this.
Right.
Like the panels are important for him to be precise, so he uses rulers for the panels. But
There's
for
also
me, it's just I it's too much time consuming to take a ruler and use it,
hmm,
but I'm not against it. So
there's also another point that I'd like to make regarding this type of question. So
yeah,
it doesn't really matter whether you're doing drawing as a hobby or if you're doing it in a professional capacity. I think that the way, the tools and the techniques that you use have to feel, I don't know if fun is the right word, but you have to like the process because if you're a professional, you're going to be doing it for so many hours each day. If you absolutely hate the way that you have to produce your work, it's going to become cumbersome and you won't be able to do it after a while.
yeah,
You'll develop an allergy to it.
hmm,
And if it's a hobby, the same thing goes, even doubly actually for a hobby because you're doing it for fun, right? You're doing it for the enjoyment of the creative process. And if you find yourself using a technique that goes against your nature, or I'm using precision as an example because it's what you brought up with the lines. Let's say you really enjoy making precise markings, right? Then I think you'd get joy out of that. Maybe even using the caliper could be a fun process for you, which is amazing. That's awesome.
yeah,
But for a different person, busting out a ruler or a compass or a caliper or whatever you're using could be the antithesis of what they're looking for in the experience of creating. So it really is a very individual thing. I think you have to find a process that you like, and the reason you like it doesn't really matter all that much, but you should enjoy the process because that just means that it's gonna flow better, probably look better, and you will continue doing it, right? The consistency will be there because the process itself is going to be something that you're drawn back into.
Yeah, I agree with that. There aren't any rights or wrongs,
Mm-mm.
but I think the way the art looks eventually is influenced more by the sketch that is underneath the ink. Like
Yeah.
the lines of the ink are important, but the sketch itself is more important.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the sketch indicates the composition, the layout,
Yeah, the
the
camera, the
action,
lens, the
the
angles, the
perspective, the
perspective.
everything except the lines.
Right.
And the lines are important, but less than the other stuff.
How do you feel about line weight within a line, meaning using different pressure on the pen to get a line that is going from thick to thin
Oh, I love
and
it.
having that effect? Yeah, you do that a lot,
I do that.
actually. Yeah,
I'm
all the
doing it
time.
now.
Yeah, doing it right now.
Yeah, I first of all, I like doing that because it's fun.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun that the tools are you can do that with the tools. The tool is it's so simple, but it also very complex the way it's designed.
Yeah.
Like the nib of the dick pen.
Mm-hmm.
And like the reason for that is it saves some time because I do want to indicate um, the position of the character and the um, size of the character
On the page.
on the page, and it helps to do that with line thickness.
Right.
And I can do it with a tool that is doesn't have any variation, line variation, but
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna take some more time because I'll have to go over the lines again after I draw them.
Right.
So here, for example, I'm drawing the hand here.
Yeah.
And so for the exterior line, I'm going to use a thicker line. And when the lines are touching something, it's going to be thicker, like here. Because there's a little bit of a ambient occlusion here, like underneath the finger here.
Right.
And every line that is going to be exterior, I'm going to do it, you see, like this. I'm going to put a bit more
Pressure
pressure.
to make the line thicker. Yeah.
And the lines that are like this line, for example, I'm gonna make it
More
thinner,
thin, yeah. Press less.
and here even thinner, because this is just secondary details here. But again, for here, for the external line, I'm gonna use more pressure, and it's gonna be thicker.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's for saving time, basically.
Right.
Because otherwise I'll do it
You'd have
with
to
two
go over
different
it.
tools and I have to switch between them.
At least two different tools because you're
With
getting more than two different thicknesses, right?
yeah. And this is smoother. It's going from thick to thin and in the same line.
Jillian says, do you have tips on how to tackle the midtones in a sketch? The lightbox tends to clamp it into black values. Would you use hatching or a diluted ink to get gray values out of the ink brush?
I'm never using midtones, but people use ink wash sometimes. That's an option.
Yeah.
And I think it's again, it's a stylistic decision for you to make, because it's not something that is definitely necessary.
Right.
But it might help if you're moving on to coloring, if you know in advance that you're gonna color the page, then maybe it will help you when you do the coloring. But also, if you're not gonna color the comic at all, that also works, because a lot of manga, for example, they do
washes, right?
Some of them do washes. A lot of them do zip-a-tone or some dual tone.
Actually, if you haven't already done so, I would look into zip-a-tone. It's a very dry way of getting into sort of shading areas. It could be add texture, it could add motion indication. There's so many patterns to choose from. You could have it a lighter shade of gray or darker. The areas in between the ink remain transparent, so that's also something that could help. You might be looking for that. Definitely, I would look into, at least online, just view some maybe YouTube videos about zip-a-tone and try to use it. I know that some people really don't like using wet washes on their work because they feel like, unless you're coming from a watercolor background, they feel like it's too chaotic. And having inked everything to precision, it's like a gamble of what's going to happen with all these puddles on my paper, right?
Inks behave differently
Yeah,
than watercolor.
of course, but it's still wet,
I
right?
can
It's a
give you
liquid.
an example. Matteo Scalera, for example, he uses ink washes.
Yeah. So
and he has like amazing art.
Yeah.
So it depends. And zip-a-tone, for me, it was too complicated.
Yeah.
I tried using it.
Right.
I actually designed my own
Pattern.
zip-a-tone.
Yeah.
So I ordered transparent stickers, and you can put them inside the printer,
Right.
and you can design your own zip-a-tone. So I've done some of my own hatching.
Right.
And I do have some of my older work. I think some of it was sold even with the zip-a-tone. But for me, it's a bit. It takes again. It's because you have to. The way it works is you put the sticker on the paper, and then you have to use a X-Acto knife
to cut it out
to the precise position that you want to use it on.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it was too, as opposed to just, I don't know, using a color to do that.
Right. So this goes back into sort of the a personal preference category, which has become the theme, and I think it's a good theme for the video. It's a good thing to talk about because it really is very important. It started with what you said. It's like you have to ask yourself if you're utilizing a process just because you saw other people doing it, and now you have it in your head that that's the way to do it. But people over time, the best artists invented their own processes.
Yeah.
And part of the reason was they either didn't know about the other people's processes, or it wasn't what they were looking for, or they just stumbled upon something new because they were allowing themselves to be free creatively, right?
Yeah. But I do agree with the fact that a page needs to have some sort of degradation between very high contrast to very low contrast. So the way I do it for me, because it's the way I like to do it, is I'm doing all the, maybe I can actually show the page that I've done this morning. Maybe it will help. So let's look at it. It's a double.
Yeah.
Let's look at this, for example, just this side. So here, this is the most contrasted area of the page here, because there's a lot of blacks and a lot of whites. So you're probably gonna look at this first. But you can see that this page has a lot of whites, like here, here, here. So a lot of the areas are deliberately stay white. Some of them are blacks, and there are some midtones, but the midtones are not done
They're not
by
solid
using
midtones.
grays or
Yeah.
using zipatones or anything like that. But I do them with details.
Yeah.
So when
It
you
reads
do a
it
lot,
reads as
it
gray.
reads as
Yeah.
gray. Yeah. So here, for example, all this section is actually midtones.
Right.
And it helps to give some depth.
Yes.
But if you look at it from a very zoomed in,
it's just thin black lines.
Yeah, it's just lines.
It's the same color as the rest of the ink on the page.
And you can, I'm not using hatching, but the most used way to do that in comics is, I guess it's hatching, or cross hatching, or just feathering, or anything like that.
Yeah.
So that's also an option. You could look at on works by artists like Jim Lee, or the more mainstream stuff.
Yeah.
They use a lot of hatching for midtones.
And does that end up in the final piece as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
They usually do it to indicate shadow, right?
Shadows, but
yeah.
But the shadows are done. Some of the shadows are done with just blacks, but usually they do some sort of hatching between the blacks and the whites to indicate a midtone.
Yeah, I like your process with adding detail to read as gray from further away, because you're achieving a couple of things in the same time, right? At the same, so you're killing more than one proverbial bird with one stone.
Yeah.
You're getting the area to read as a mid-tone, but you're also adding detail. You're also giving your world more texture. You're also potentially communicating some sort of tactile information about structures or fabrics or materials.
Yeah.
You could also be doing that as well. Whereas a wash is just a solid block of transparent.
Yeah, and the drawback is that I think it takes more time than to do just a gray wash over the.
Yeah, even though now that you've gotten used to it, I think you do it really quickly. So it's the same sort of thing where you enjoy doing the detail, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would be doing it in a different way. You would be doing washes or what have you. This is so you really you're a stickler for precision, I think. Even though you wouldn't necessarily relay that information about yourself, but you are. I mean, it's obvious in your work.
For what?
Precision, detail, that's there. And I can sort of...
Details is not necessarily precision.
No, I'm saying that's why I put a comma in between.
Yeah.
So both of those things, right? I can definitely empathize with the detail and precision, but I think you enjoy being more free than maybe when I create things. I like to be meticulous. I like to plan. I have lists. Everything's color coded.
Okay.
Everything has a name. So I work mostly in 3D software, but many 3D animators just sort of do what they need to do, the bare minimum of what needs to be done in order for the product to appear. But I need to, it helps me in my process, and it also helps me later on if I'm opening up an older file to have things labeled, titled, color coded, put in the correct files, naming system, and I enjoy that part of the process as well. But if I were to tell you that you had to do a 3D project and do it that way, you would go nuts.
Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to handle it, right?
No.
And so it's more of a question of, yeah, again, like what way works for you. I would, if I were you, I would actually try out all kinds of different techniques and see which ones you find to be more useful and enjoyable to you.
Unless you already know what's more enjoyable.
Jillian says, when you fill in a big area with black ink, like the shoes in your drawing, would you fill the whole thing with black and then use a white pen for the white lines, or would you fill it in with black around it? So that's actually a thing that Nir has gone into detail about with your technique of doing the white lines on black inked areas.
Yes.
I think maybe 2 videos ago you talked about it, 2 or 3 videos ago. That's still up, obviously, on the YouTube channel. You can find that. I don't know if it's in the title of the video. Did you add that to the title of the video, perhaps?
No, you can explain it like fast.
Yeah, so basically the technique is that if you're blacking out an area but you want to have the white lines above it, you have to have some way of seeing what you planned through the black ink, right? But that's not really a possibility because the light table is going to be opaque in the black areas. But there's a technique that Nir utilizes and sort of has invented for himself, at least, in which he uses transparent paper. It's a specialized paper that has white dust on it. So it's like copy paper, but white instead of dark. And he puts that on the page and then uses the sketch on top of that so that so you have the white copy paper in between the sketch that's on the top and the final page that's on the bottom, right? And now what you're doing is going over the lines, the white lines that are in your black areas with any kind of utensil that just pushes the dust onto the final page. You're retracing those lines from your sketch, and then that dust is being projected onto the page underneath it, just like dark copy paper would, right? And so that's a way of at least indicating to yourself where your sketch lines were meant to be white. And then once you remove the copy paper in your sketch, you can go over that with a gel liner or with white ink with a brush or whatever your preferred way of using.
But that's not the only
It's not the only way. Yeah, for sure.
I know Joe Weems, for example, who's an inker.
Yeah.
He just paint the blacks around the white lines.
Right, so he like leaves the white as the page, right? Which
page.
To me, that would drive me nuts. I couldn't deal with that. Because I'd have to spend so much time making sure that the lines are the same thickness.
Okay, so that's the thing. When I talked to him about it, he told me that that he thinks it looks better that way.
Right.
When the lines are not very precise.
See, it comes back to personal preference. Yeah. Like that would drive me nuts. I wouldn't be able to sleep at night. Yeah. I'd be like, I can't believe I haven't figured out how to do it and keep my lines the width that I want. It would drive me mental.
Do you want to maybe talk about the movie that we saw?
Which one? In the theater?
Yeah.
Oh, we watched Good Luck, Have Fun, Don't Die, which, if I'm not mistaken, is like a phrase that's used in gaming. It's like a sort of sarcastic.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it also has like shorthand that people, good luck, have fun. They write GLHF or something.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's sort of like a sarcastic comment you make to other gamers or other players. But yeah, we watched that in the cinema yesterday. It wasn't yesterday.
No.
No, a couple of days ago. I was actually, it was good. It was enjoyable. There was some funny moments. It was like a comedy type of movie. I really enjoyed the whole end sequence with the cables. That was fun.
Yeah.
The cat was crazy. We're not really spoiling much, but
Yeah.
just talking about it in general terms. It was cool. Yeah, I'm not mad at having gone to see it in the theater.
Yeah, no.
I wouldn't
was
say that
nice.
it's my favorite movie of all time,
Yeah.
but it was enjoyable. Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It was nice.
Yeah. I wonder who played the main.
Wasn't it Sam something? Sam Rockwell? Sam Rockwell?
Who? Sam what?
Rockwell.
Cast. Let me see here. Sam Rockwell. How do you know who that is? I don't even know who that is.
He's in everything.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, Sam Rockwell. Yeah. I guess I couldn't really recognize
He's like
him.
a comedian, not a comedian.
No,
but
he played in
he
a lot of
plays funny
series. Yeah.
roles mostly.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell. I don't know that I ever actually had his name in my mind. I only had an image of his face. I never knew who this person, what his name was. Let's see.
No, but he's like an A-list actor.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, he has the same sort of like gingery, white, darky beard thing that I have going on when I grow out my beard, which is that's already making me feel like we're more kin. Let's see.
By the way, do you see what I drew here now?
Yes.
Do you know what it is?
The person?
Here.
Oh,
What?
that's a figure 4.
Yeah.
Climbing technique.
Do you want to maybe explain about it?
It's used mostly.
Do you think anybody else drew a figure 4 in a comic book?
There's a comic book about climbing, right?
Yeah, it's a manga.
The answer would have to be yes, only because I know that there's a comic book about climbing. But other than that, no, I wouldn't.
Do you think other than in manga, like in a Western comic,
Why would anyone be
drawing figure 4?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, maybe accidentally, but not on purpose. Okay,
Nobody understands.
No, I'm gonna explain.
We're talking about.
So, I have, yeah, this is figure 4. Let's see if I can find. Well, I'm gonna not stretch, but we're gonna pull up the climbing technique. Okay, so this is actually not that good of an angle, but this is a figure 4. This is a better angle. I'm gonna just enlarge this so that it's more easily visible. You can see that this person is, so what they are doing is actually ice climbing, but it's not on actual ice. It's on plywood and synthetic holds.
Yeah, but you can figure 4 on regular routes.
Yeah, you don't have to be ice climbing to do it, but that's what we're seeing in this image. So if you're wondering why he's holding these devices, they are climbing axes. They're used for climbing outdoors on ice, and also, so that's like alpine climbing, but also on the sort of synthetic or indoor outdoor version of that, which is plywood and manufactured holds. The figure 4 itself is wrapping your leg around your arm like this. So what that does is it locks your hips to your elbow. Okay, so it's elevating your center of mass and locking it closer to your elbow, the hand that's holding on. And then that allows for a couple of different things. It allows for the free hand to be elevated and to reach further than it could if your torso were lower and your hips were lower. It takes some sort of the weight off of your upper body and it transfers it to the hand that's holding on. Okay, so it's like locking off basically. I don't know. Some of you have probably tried to do pull-ups and stay in the up position. That would be locking off. Similar to that, or in regular climbing, bouldering, lead climbing, where you lock and then one arm is free and your torso stays in the same place. That's locking. So it's a type of locking technique, basically.
And it looks cool.
And it looks cool. And there's variations to it as well. There's figure 9, there's figure 6, but figure 4 is the most recognizable. And the reason they call them figure 4s is because from specific angles, it creates the appearance of the digit.
Yeah.
And
but for this story, the main characters are basically climbers.
Yeah.
So I had to do it at least once.
Right. Yeah, you didn't have to, but it's a nice little detail for.
No, I
had to. You absolutely had to.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's using the climbing axes as well.
Yeah, but they're also using them for fighting because it's a bit
right.
Manga inspired.
Yeah.
The story is basically reverse Robin Hood story.
Jillian has a question.
Yeah.
Do you have any tips on recreating an illustration on a larger scale? So, for example, 18 by 24, would you use a thicker nib or make thicker lines for it to read better, or would you use the same tools?
Yeah, if it's much bigger, then yeah, it makes sense to use wider tools.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
How big would it have to be though for you to switch over to like markers instead of or brushes? 18 by 24 doesn't sound that big. Is it big?
18 by 24, yeah. This is 11 by 17.
Right, so it's not like extremely bigger. It's not a huge poster size.
Yeah.
If you had to do 18 by 24, do you think that you'd use the same
No,
tools?
I'll use the same tools.
Yeah, I think so too. I think you would use the same tools on that scale.
Maybe I'll just push harder on the nibs just to get at least the exterior lines a bit thicker.
Right.
But yeah, mostly it's gonna be same tools. I do have if I need like very wide lines, I do have this, which is a nib that holds more ink because it has like this
reservoir.
This allows the nib to hold more ink here.
Right. Yeah.
And it's much wider than this.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, you can tell that the tip is much wider. Yeah. It also flares up or something, right?
Flares? No, it expands like
No, I mean, like, does it have an upturn in the end, or is that just a
no,
camera?
it's straight.
No. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but you can, if you're using dip pens, there's a lot of various sizes. But the one I'm using the most is the G. This one, G nib. And this goes very, very thick to very, very thin. So you can use the same tool and just use different pressure amounts if you're doing a bigger page.
Have we watched Galaxy Quest? Because Jamie says that Sam Rockwell's good in Galaxy Quest.
What's Galaxy Quest?
I think it's like a, isn't it a comedy series maybe, or perhaps even a movie? I'm gonna check. I think it's some sort of parody or comedy. Galaxy Quest. Is it that? Yeah. Oh, okay. I think, yeah. Isn't it that series? It was a series, right? No, it's a movie. Galaxy Quest, 1999,
Oh,
with Sigourney Weaver, Tim Allen,
whoa,
Alan Rickman,
whoa.
Tony Shalhoub.
Who's that?
This guy, you know who it is. Look, Tony Shalhoub.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name correctly, but Sam Rockwell and etc. etc. Missy Pyle. Who's Missy Pyle? Enrico Colantoni, Heidi Swedberg, bunch of. So I think, I don't know. Did we? I think we did watch this at some
I,
point.
I'm not sure. It doesn't sound familiar.
What do you guys think is the place of social media in an artist's life? Is it more for marketing, sharing, connecting? I have a love-hate relationship with it and not sure how artists should use it. First of all, let me just say, I'm going to preface it by saying that I think everybody has a love-hate relationship with social media, even if they're unaware of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cons inherent in current day sort of the system of how we mm, propagate and use social media.
Yeah.
And definitely,
You can also answer it because you had like a lot of followers on
yeah,
Instagram and you stopped using it.
I did. I had 44,000 followers, I think, on my personal sort of 3D art Instagram. It's now down to 36 or so, maybe even less than that. I haven't been updating it for the past few years. Um, I don't know that it was ever toxic for me because it wasn't about my personal life. There are no pictures or photos of me in there. There's none of the, I went to this place, I went to that place. This is my dog wearing a cute sweater. This is what I ate in the morning. It wasn't about that. It was just a page around imagery, either still or animation that I was creating for personal projects mostly.
Yeah.
But at times, even though I didn't feel that it was toxic, quote unquote, at times I did feel like it was taking too much of my attention. Just the keeping up with comments and DMs. That's on one hand, but on the other hand, it really helped my career as well. Specifically Instagram in its heyday when it was really popular and doing well. I think it's sort of gone downhill since. But yeah, a lot of projects and friendships and work has come to me through social media. So
Yeah.
that's my answer to it. It has its pros and cons.
Yeah. For me, it's the same thing. I try to limit my use um, only for when I do need it for work. Obviously, it's not easy because I do use it as just, I don't know, scrolling and sometimes doom scrolling. But maybe it helps to be a bit conscientious about how to use it,
Right.
and only if it's um,
Only when it's necessary. Yeah.
gives you something,
Tangible.
yeah,
Like,
for
let's say
work.
if you're showing at a gallery, you would want to broadcast that to your followers. It doesn't matter if you have 100 followers or thousands or hundreds of thousands of followers. That is a practical thing that you can use social media for.
Yeah.
Um, Jillian asks why I stopped using it. I don't, so my reasoning wasn't that it didn't really have much to do with the social media itself. It was that I was generating much less artwork, just global things that were happening and personal things that were happening. And yeah, I didn't really have much to post in the same way that I did prior to that. I might get back into it, but I don't know. It's not.
By the way, I don't think it's necessary to be successful. You can do it in other ways.
Mm.
I know of a lot of artists who don't have social media at all.
Like who, for instance?
Tradmore,
He doesn't have any.
no.
Okay. Yeah.
He has a website, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. And also, artists were working and well known before social media was a thing.
Yeah, but
So obviously,
the
it's
question is if
nowadays.
nowadays, yeah,
Yeah.
if you have
I
to.
mean,
It helps. It does help, but you can do it without social media. It's possible.
the best thing for you is working on projects and creating the best results possible, and then the word of mouth traveling through the industry, whatever it is that you're a part of. That's the best thing.
Yeah.
That's even better
I
than.
never got any comics related job from social media, even once.
Okay, and I'd say almost all of my, or at least half of my animation roles or gigs came to me through Instagram specifically.
Yeah, I got a lot of illustration work from Instagram,
Yeah.
like the Foster the People
Mm-hmm.
work was from Instagram,
Yeah.
but never comics.
Right.
I don't know if it's something to remember specifically, or is it just what happened with me? But for me, I never got any comics work from social media. But it does help because it you can show your stuff pretty much easily.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need anything, you just need to draw and you can show it.
Can you explain the difference between a comic page and an illustration?
Yeah. An illustration is a piece of art that accompanies text, and a comics page is uh, some pieces of art together that creates a story.
Hmm. So illustration doesn't necessarily have to create a story, but does it always
No,
accompany text
yeah, illustration always accompanies text.
or contains text within it, or some sort of relationship to text?
Yeah. So in a comics page, there's illustrations,
Right.
but in an illustration, there aren't any comics
Why? I mean,
because then it will be comics.
no, I mean, you could have an illustration of someone holding a comic book
Yeah.
open,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
that's like a technicality. It's
Yeah.
not. Yeah, so yeah, basically like illustration is one of the components of comic book art,
Yeah. Exactly.
and it's also its own thing outside of the context of comic books.
Yeah.
Was that clear, Jillian? Or
There's a lot of
Jamie says
things in common.
Jamie says there's a lot of movement shown in that comic book. I think he's referring to the pages that you're working on now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it really is very movement centric, this book. There's a lot of climbing and falling and movement and
yeah. So it's it's a chase between two people
yeah.
that continues in the story in a different sections of the book, but it's a continuous chase sequence. So it starts. I think I talked about it a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the story is told in a geographic linearity.
Right.
So it starts in the underground and goes up to the 44th level. And this is issue 2, so it's on the ground itself, but you can see the character he's starting to climb to the first and second levels of the city. So because it's about climbers, it's the chase is vertical
Right.
and not horizontal.
Is the material that he's climbing on, what is that, concrete or?
No, it's wood.
Yeah, because I was gonna say like the climbing axes, we don't.
They wouldn't work.
They
on
wouldn't work
concrete.
on concrete. At least not any kind of material science
It's
that
funny
we
that
have.
you're asking because I actually thought about it.
Of course you did.
Because the city it's a 3D city. So it's also one of the main characters of this specific story. And the idea is that there are, I don't know if you can see it on this page specifically, but yeah, you can see it here maybe. So there are houses on not only on the ground but also on the upper levels. So you can build your house on an upper level, and it's gonna be made out of light materials. And the main construction is obviously is steel and concrete. But the houses that are built uh, like on the upper stories are gonna be with made out of light materials.
Mm-hmm.
I'm almost done with the characters. Usually in the streams, it takes me a bit more time to do that, to finish with the characters. I might have time to start with the blacks.
Yeah, Jillian says good. It was a good answer because it says I'm always confused about the difference between illustration, painting, drawing, and sketching. It is confusing.
Yeah, it's confusing, and people are obviously they can do. For example, I had friends that they were. I met them in a comic convention, and they were doing something in the middle between illustration and comics.
Mm.
So that it's actually very interesting the way they worked. They're a couple, and they're drawing together on a page. So they have their pages are like pieces of art, like I think this size more or less. And
Did they use oil paints or what did they?
oil
Pastels?
pastels, yeah,
Right.
oil pastels, and it looks like fine art, I
Right.
guess. And then they scan the art, and they add. So it's a story, okay? So it's a basically like something between a comics and an illustration, because they don't use speech bubbles.
Mm-hmm.
They only have a text at the bottom of the page
Right.
that says what's happening,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a story, so
Sequential.
it is sequential. It's a bit like a comic book in this manner, but it doesn't look like a comic book.
Yeah,
It
it's
looks
more
like,
of like an art book or something.
but it has a story, so it's
Yeah.
not. So it's something between illustration and comics.
It's
And
actually not
they got into a comic convention, so they were
considered comic
considered
creators.
comics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I would consider that to be a type of comic book for sure.
yeah.
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily the traditional
It's not.
in
Yeah,
the
it's not the
traditional sense,
traditional.
but
If you look at every page independently,
right,
it's illustration.
right.
Because
But
for example, for children books,
yeah,
looks like that
right,
mostly.
yeah,
Children books, they
yeah.
have
It's more like a children's books for adults,
exactly,
right?
which is,
It's pretty
I
cool.
guess it's more illustration
Yeah.
than comics, but it is something in the middle. So yeah, the it's hard to define it without exceptions.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of people in the background here. I don't think I'll have time to do it now,
Right.
but I'll finish it
Tomorrow.
tomorrow morning.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have time now to do maybe start with the blacks.
Those are cool sunglasses.
Yeah, do you know what they are?
I guess sunglasses that also have reading glass or oh, are they belay
Yeah,
goggles?
yeah.
Okay, they wouldn't look like that though.
Why?
Well, at least not the ones that exist
I know.
nowadays.
And
Okay.
he has
Oh
also.
yeah, his
But
glasses are
no,
more
but the idea is that it's you can do like put it up or down. If you
right.
put it down, you look up. If you put like this,
It's open,
she's
so
looking
she's seeing in front of
yeah,
her.
and for him it's open as well.
Right.
If like he like turns it to this angle, it's gonna be looking up.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yeah.
It's
So
another thing that we need to explain
that
for
comes from
people.
climbing. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so when you're lead climbing, basically it means that your belayer or the person that's securing you is connected through their harness to your harness with a rope, and they sort of feed you rope or take in rope in response to what's happening while you're climbing. And the way that they don't break their neck and back by looking up all the time at you because they need visual confirmation of what's happening is that they use these special glasses that are called, I guess, belay glasses. And it's just a pair of spectacles that has two prisms, one for each eye, and a mirror. So when you're looking straight, you see what's happening above you. And then you don't have to like angle your neck all the time, right? Um, it takes a little bit of time to get used to. Some people get headaches in the beginning when they use them, but and they're pretty funky looking. It looks like you might be doing surgery or watchmaking. Definitely not glasses that you would typically see on someone's face walking down the street. But I can
Yeah,
bring up an
but
image of
I
them.
designed specific ones for my characters here in this story.
Yeah. So, yeah, for instance, here we have, oh, is it not? Yeah. So we have, this is a very this is actually a device, a pair of glasses that you buy that clips onto your sunglasses or reading glasses or sight glasses. But mostly you would see them looking like this, where it's its own device. It's just two prisms at the end. This is a top-down view. Quite funky looking, but very beneficial to your neck.
very beneficial to comics design.
as well. Yeah.
If you want to design, specificity is very important
Yeah.
in when you design. Like if you have just if you think just a little bit um
More deeply about what you're designing.
yeah, just a little bit.
It gives it so much more like
Yeah, it gives it more.
it what's the word I'm looking for? It anchors the action or the character or the environment in it
Yeah,
anchors it in place.
it feels more real.
It feels more likely, let's say, because you're not necessarily always looking for realism, but there's a specific type of likeliness that gets triggered if you go into a little bit more detail.
Yeah, I was thinking about this rule recently when I thought about Mad Max,
Hmm.
which is a great example for specificity in design.
Yeah,
Everything there is so specific.
yeah.
There's
The culture,
nobody
even.
else is gonna design the same thing
Yeah,
like this world.
yeah.
Everything there is specific.
It's like the so you know how often creators talk about world building and how important it is and how
Yeah,
to go about doing it. And there's all of these different kinds of techniques that can be utilized. I think what is amazing in worlds such as Mad Max is that the world building doesn't just end at the design of devices and environments. It goes into the speech or the language. It goes into the culture.
yeah.
It goes into every single aspect of the
Mhm.
characters and their environment.
Like we were talking about the Witness Me when they use the spray cans,
Yeah.
which is so
It's such a quirky, specific
yeah,
detail. Like, and then
it's
it makes
weird
you,
though.
it sort of like makes it more believable because weird things like that would happen
Yeah,
decades after an apocalypse, right?
yeah,
They would invent all these traditions based off of objects that they found. And Near was telling me, like it automatically triggered a sort of sidebar or a side quest of the story in his mind, in which he explained to himself how that came about
yeah.
as a tradition, and it
Mhm.
happened really quickly. So it's doing its job
Yeah.
as a function of the story, right? It's grounding you and making the environment more believable, and the characters and the story more grounded and believable. You were saying they probably found a
Found
warehouse full of chrome
spray
paint,
cans.
spray
Yeah,
paints, and they a long time after civilization had collapsed,
yeah.
and you know they had all this material in a specific
And
color,
yeah, and they had to do something with
and
it.
someone just, I guess, witnessed me and sprayed it on him
Yeah.
once, and it became a thing,
Mhm.
and probably used that commodity as like currency, or
Yeah.
almost like it almost gains a religious type of value, but it's a traditional type of
Mhm.
um, cultish or
Yeah, that's why
tribal.
that's I think that's the only reason this franchise is so successful.
Yeah. Okay, so we have been going for over an hour and a half.
Okay.
This is usually the point where we look at what you've done so far today without the
Sure.
light table on. You can turn the light on though.
So I actually just finished the characters, except of the ones here in the background. So
Yeah.
I've done this page is done, like characters wise,
Hmm.
except of the blacks. And the background here, I have some more here.
Some more distant characters.
Yeah, I'm gonna do them tomorrow, but other than that, it's only doing the blacks
Right.
and then the backgrounds.
Hmm.
And the backgrounds here are gonna take a lot of time because it's a lot of background,
Hmm.
and it's also raining as well.
Right.
So that's a lot of work and detail. But yeah, I
I've
think
climbed outdoors in, in the rain before, and I don't recommend it. You're not supposed to go climbing when it's actually raining.
No.
So it started raining mid-climb, right? This was like a lead route outdoors. We wouldn't have gone up if it were, you know. And Jillian says, great stream, guys. Have a great week and see you next Monday.
Yeah,
Thank you for joining us for the past hour and a half.
Previous from last week.
And we're going to show the page that the double page that you worked, well, the 2 pages that you worked on now.
Yeah, I'm gonna stream
next
it.
week.
I'm gonna also continue working tomorrow with a silent stream without talking.
See you, everyone. Thank you for joining us, and be sure to comment if you have questions. You know, share the video with people you think you might enjoy it, like it. All that stuff helps us, and we'll see you next